Sorry, say that again.
Have you had any funny moments in the Doctor Who series?
Have I had any funny moments? There can be quite a few funny moments, but the one that sticks out the most to me is when we were filming the Ooze. When we first did the Ooze, not in the last series, the Ooze Planet, but before that. We were all filming on a gantry, and there was about 10 Ooze, and I don't know if you remember the scene, and all the Ooze are sort of sweeping up and mopping and carrying things. And we sort of rehearsed the scene quite a lot, because obviously there is, you know, a limited amount of vision in an Ooze head. So this scene had been rehearsed, and we all had our own little traffic, and you know what everyone was going to do and stuff. And it was rehearsed down to a T. Everyone knew, and every time it was rehearsed, it was done absolutely perfect. And then we rehearsed it with all the heads on, and everything was absolutely fine. And then it comes to the first take to do it, and they call action. And once they called action, all of a sudden, within seconds, there was a massive Ooze jam, and everyone just stood there, because once your vision is blocked, then you can't see where you're going. So everyone just stood there. Well, the whole place within seconds was just on the floor in hysterics, because no one could do anything. So we sort of had to reset it and then re-sort it out and jiggle it around and sort out the traffic problems and stuff. And then it was absolutely fine. But that's probably the funniest moment that happened. So, any other questions? Any questions for Torchwood or Sarah Jane?
Well, if no one's going to ask a question, I may as well. Can you tell us a little bit about your very best audition and your very worst audition?
My very best audition and my very worst. Wow, good question. I think my very best audition, was when I auditioned for Blade 2. It was just what they were asking, you know, us to do, and what, you know, we were asked to act out, and the Reapers and things like that. And a lot of the time in auditions, they're not actually sure what they're looking for. They wait until they see it. So I'd say that was probably one of my best auditions. My worst audition. My worst audition. I don't think I have a worst audition, really. Not that I can recall, anyway. Don't have one. No. Any other questions?
If you could design a costume, what would it look like?
If I could design a costume, if I was wanting to play something and design something, I'd quite like to do a sort of lizardy, sort of reptile creature that was maybe on those springy stilts. That would be quite cool. And could maybe fly. So to be on wires, that would be quite good as well. But yeah, I'd quite like a sort of lizardy sort of creature. That'd be quite cool to play. Any other questions?
Obviously, as a role of an actor, you've played in a lot of scary monsters, like in Torchwood and Doctor Who. Is that purely intentional, that you wanted, like, be an actor who wanted those sort of roles, or is it just something that you fell into?
Yeah, it just sort of happened, really. Like I say, when I had the audition for Blade 2, I mean, for me at that point, I was doing a show in the West End, dancing, and my agent just called and said there's this and this is what they're looking for. So I just auditioned along with, I think they saw 800 other people, for those parts. I think they saw sort of stuntmen, dancers, gymnasts, actors. I mean, because they're sort of scanning to see what they're actually looking for themselves. And then, you sort of think to yourself, well, it's almost like winning the lottery in some ways, and you do all your auditions, and then you hope for a phone call, but 99% of the time you don't get one. And I did. And then once I did that and played one of the Reapers, I sort of thought to myself, I do really enjoy the whole prosthetics, creatures, and monster thing. So it'd be quite cool to play more. But it's not actually something you can actually go away and train to do and say, this is what I want to specialise in. I think it's something more that you do fall into. And then, once the ball starts to roll and your name maybe gets known and stuff like that, that you actually, the more roles you play, the easier it is to sort of play more sort of thing. And I was very lucky also with Doctor Who, to be asked back. because you never know, you see. So, and after the first series, I was sort of waiting to see if I was going to get a phone call to say yes, we'd like you back on the second and stuff. And now I'm sort of on the fourth, and the same sort of thing. Will I get asked back? So, well, I hope so. Fingers crossed. So yeah, it's something you sort of more fall into, I think, than actually go, this is what I want to do. But I wouldn't turn back. No. Any other questions?
Yes, I have one.
Okay.
Well, I actually have two.
Two?
The first one's a little bit cheeky.
Okay.
When you're dressed in like the full Cyberman outfit,
Yes.
how do you go to the toilet?
How do I go to the toilet in a Cyberman outfit? Right. Well, Cyberman pants have to come off. They also have to come off when we have to sit down because they're made of fiberglass, so if we would sit down, the pants have to come off. So, there is a running joke that happens all the time with that, so Cyberman pants off. And then the top half has to come off. And then the undergarments have to come off, and then, yes, we can go to the bathroom then. So it's actually quite a long process, so we try not to when we're filming. And then in our breaks, it's fine, because we sort of tend to come out of most of the costume anyway to go to the bathroom. Does that answer your question?
How did they manage to do the special effects for the Beast?
Say that again, sorry?
How did they manage to do the special effects for the Beast?
The Beast. I didn't hear that question, sorry.
How did they manage to do the special effects for the Beast?
The special effects for the Beast. Was that CGI? CGI. They use computers to make all that happen. It's a very complicated process, which I'm not even going to start to go into, because I don't know. But it is very complicated, and it's very clever. It's very, very clever. All the CG stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid that's it, because the robots are going to start now, but can you put your hands together one more time for the wonderful Mr. Paul Casey?
Thanks very much. Enjoy your day. Cheers.